Hey, good evening. Welcome back to my bait cave. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Still rolling through January. Seems like a long month, hadn't it? What is it, like January 53rd or something like that? It's been very busy, but it's just going by slow. Seems like a long time since I've been out here. Like, I painted those jig heads 3 months ago, but I know it ain't been that long. So I thought I'd do a quick video and show everybody my method for finishing them up. There's a lot of different ways, and I'll show you a couple different ones for putting the skirts on and stuff like that. And then some of them are going to get eyes, blades, and some of them are going to get weed guards. I was thinking maybe I'd do one of each on this video. Give everybody an idea about how easy it is to finish them up with your own design. Anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is just a quick rundown. So I think I'll spin this camera around and jump right into it. So you don't really need too much equipment. I got this off of Amazon for about 25 bucks. And I bought a set of these. The only thing I use this thread for is basically that it holds the skirts in place before you get the wire on them. This doesn't really do a whole lot more than that. It comes with, I think I bought a kit like this, a deal of the day on Amazon one time for about 20 bucks. I got 2 or 3 of these and a whole bunch of different color threads. It's pretty inexpensive. So my technique, I just started off upside down like this and just lock it in. You could do it any way you want, really. All the skirts are going to come in an endless supply of colors. This is from, I get this at Barlow's. But you can get it. You can go to any of your favorite tackle stores. This is kind of on their main shelf, but then they always have clearance. You get these big giant bags like this. With clearance. They always got something on clearance. I always shop both of them and just see what I want. It's all up to you, really. I feel like for this one, I want something like this. So for any of these bigger ones, like these half ounces, I use 4 of these pieces, like what you got here. So really, just get started. I put a couple wraps of thread, just so it kind of locks in there. Remember, it's just to hold this in place until the wire goes on. So, just right off the bat, I'm gonna what I want the inside and one I'm gonna want for the outside. So I want this yellow chartreuse to be up on the inside. So I just want to get it to kind of come up even on the other side about halfway. See how I got about half of it in there? Like half of that stem is covered. Let's see if I can, yeah, it kind of shows up good. Let me turn this just a little bit. All right, so you gotta have to work it a little bit, not too much. About right there is good. It's about half covered. Give it a couple wraps. Well, see, I let it loose. I'm having trouble with this camera right here in the way. Let's see if I can shorten this up a little bit. Maybe if I make a little bit shorter of a wrap. There we go. So, see, that's set about right. And once you get your pattern down, this will go a whole lot faster. I'm really slow at this on the camera. I'm kind of awkward. So just roll this over. So you see, I got basically what is the top done, or the bottom. I guess that's the top. So same thing. I want the chartreuse bob wire on the inside. And then I just want to remember, like, cover anything that wasn't covered by the first wrap. So now you see how it's all, let me see what you can see it on that side. Yeah, see how it's all covered? So that's enough right there to hold it. And I can take a couple clothespins and just kind of bundle that up so it gets out the way a little bit. Just so that I could do a couple wraps just a little bit tighter, not much. And then I just make a basic knot in there. A little loop knot. And I'll usually do I just do 2 of those. At this point, this is the last that this thread's going to be doing anything at all. Just like that, and then now it's just time for the wire. And there's a lot of different kinds of wires. I got several different types. But one thing I do try to get is I want it all to be the main material of the wire to be copper. As long as it says copper in there, and then I'll just take whatever color that I want at the time. Like this one, I want black. You know, I'll cut off the piece that I'm going to be working with, you know, about 12 inches. And so it don't take a lot of wire, but I like to get it. So I consider that a wrap. You see, now pull it tight. So that's 2. Go down, that's 3. And then 4. And that's where I start just tying it off right here. And now you can go get some twist lock pliers where you can just zip a little curl in there if you want, make it a lot faster. But really, I get pretty quick like this when I'm not working on a camera. I mean, I can tie this pretty quick. The only thing you have to do, kind of in my method, is you want to grab that twist of wire and just twist the whole thing, that's maybe like a half a turn, 1 turn, something like that, just so that it'll suck it down. It'll get it tight right down inside there. And then I just really just cut that off. See how easy that is? Nothing to it, right? And then what else you got to do? After you do something like that, all you need is a pair of scissors. Grab this bad boy. Try to bring them on out here to the end, like, you know, get as much. Now see, let me tell you something about this. I leave as much on there as possible, because whenever I sell one of these or give one of these away or something, I'm fully expecting the next owner to trim this the way they want it. I'll leave it all shaggy like this, and I have used them all shaggy, but the main thing I want is I want to know that I left enough on here for when the person that winds up being in possession of this football head can trim that any way they want. See that? There's enough. There's plenty of skirt on there. You can do whatever you want with it. You can, some people might want to trim it across here. Some people like to. Sometimes you might want to separate all this, like right here. This is a very popular method. You go ahead and let me get over here so I can take the skirt, separate it like this. So we hold it right there, and just trim all that off. Just trim it off all the way around the head, just like that. And then when it comes back up, you know you got that little short collar around there. So that's something you could do. But this is as far as I go with it in the building process, so that there's a lot more room for design or anything you want to do. Now I'll do the same thing with the hook guard. So as far as the hook guard goes, I had a choice of black and blue or solid black. It's really all with whatever you want. So as far as installing the hook guard, that's all I use right there. This gel super glue. See if I can get this in camera. It's a little small dab of it. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this black and blue. This black and blue guard. Kind of give it a little, make sure you get contact in there. And that won't take very long to dry. And this is what I was talking about, the hook guard. I send them out just like this. Well, what the owner of this is probably going to do is probably going to come in and cut it off right here, just about that angle right there. But you don't have to. Might choose to leave it just like this. I don't know the conditions you'd be fishing in with that in, but that's a finished jig head right there. That's all there is to it. So next I'll do a half-ounce swim jig. This one is going to take a skirt, some eyes, and a chatterbait. So as to not waste too much time in the boring tent, I went ahead and did that skirt off camera. I'll put a little dab of super glue right here. I already picked out some eyes for it. Really making a mess of it on camera, ain't I? Here we go. I think I got it. Go flip it over. So the majority of chatterbaits don't get a weed guard. But where I plan to fish with this one is gonna require one. Let me get that eye on there. It's not the greatest eye socket. So until that super glue sets, it's gonna want to slide around a little bit. Well, here we go. All right, so while I got it sitting here, I'll go ahead and put the weed guard in. So what you could do, like what I do is if this particular one I want right now is going to require a weed guard, but if ever I don't want it, and I just want to use it as a what would you call it? If I want to use it as a just a chatterbait with no guard, I would just cut that off as close to the lead head as I can get it, and it's going to work just fine. All right, so the next thing I do is attach the chatter blade, which is going to go on like this. with this jump ring or hog. It's not a hog ring, but a jump ring, and it's not the easiest thing in the world for me to do. I'm not sure I could do it on camera. I'm kind of awkward with it. So I guess what I'll try to do is, well, I'm bent that one already. Hold on. All right, so I got a different set of pliers. So maybe that might help me out a little bit. Started on this eye right here. Let's see if I can get this in it. Like I said, I struggle with these things off camera, much less trying to film this. All right. Try to see if I can straighten that out a little bit. That's a little bit big, I think. I think it'll do what I want. All right. All right, so there's a little 1/2 ounce chatterbait. Pretty nice, huh? I think that's going to look good going through the water. And then you put whatever trailer you want on it. This little SwimJig, it has a little hook. Well, it's not really a hook, but a little barb right here for your soft plastic, so they stay on whatever you choose for the trailer. It's ready to go. Again, you could trim that hook guard or take it all the way off if you'd like. A couple other options you have for putting skirts on those type of jigs is, these are just pre-made skirts. There's this little grommet, a little rubber band that holds them around. You can buy extra rubber bands, so if you was in the mood to change your skirt out, or say that rubber band breaks and your skirt just comes all to pieces, you can just put the new one, your new skirts on with these bands. I don't use these too much. I just happen to have this one laying around. Thought I'd show it to you. And the last way you can actually attach a skirt is with these things right here. These little tubes. There's a special tool that you can run in here, and it'll expand this so you can pull your skirt material. See, like you can expand the tube and then just run this through it. I don't have one. It's probably a little spendy. I haven't seen one in a while. I don't have one, but a lot of times if I'm going to use this type of skirt, I'll run it up on a little pliers like this and just stretch it open, and I could basically just run my skirt through there like this until I got it halfway, and then I could build this up as much as I want, and then the band would be on there like that. Find the center of them. I could put a few more on there, 2 or 3, and then you can run your lure through here and then let that close down on it, and then that's basically just like wiring it on. So you could use that method too if you'd like. So here's a 3/16 ounce swing head. I use these swing heads a lot. Let me go ahead and skirt this one up. Use this black grape, what they call half wire, and some purple barbed wire for the skirt. So putting skirts on can be boring, but I want to show you, this is a little bit different of a technique. Let's see if I maybe turn this a little bit. It's a little bit far away, but I think you'll see what I'm going to do. Okay, so see right now I got the half wire and the barbed wire. On the bottom right here, I'm gonna put the barbed wire up against the lure. See how it's on the inside. See if I get that out of my way. So I got the actual barbed wire on the inside. Give it a few wraps. Now turn it. So now you got the half wire. I'm gonna put it on the inside. So it's the opposite of what was on the bottom. And this gives it a pretty good effect every now and then. You want to do it all the time, but this is one of the ways I like to change things up a bit. Put a few wraps on that. Make sure it don't turn on me. Again, just a regular slip knot. I'll just do that twice. Oh, look, I cut that by accident. Little things like that happen to me when I'm trying to get it on the camera. But that one ain't gonna hurt. That's why I put 4 layers just for accidents. So usually this is about the right amount of wires. When I have it hooked in there, I'll just skip that once and go around again. That's a little wasteful, but this stuff's cheap. And it helps me get good leverage so I can pull it tight. Because it's important to not have any slack in the wire. Keep it down tight on there. Now it's nice and tight. Just bend that over and bury it down in there. And just do the same thing. Leave as much on here as possible. Until you're ready to trim it up for use. When you're ready to fine tune it. Alright, so that's the jig head without the hook. So the next thing I want to do is put a blade in that. Bring it back upright like this so I can see that, so I don't accidentally get my blade upside down. This one I'm also going to use a silver blade, but it's a different kind of blade. See, it's got this little rod in it. This type of blade is a lot more user friendly. You just get that little hook out of there. All right, hold on. This pliers might be better suited for smashing that back down. That's all there is to that. All bladed up. There we go. So the last thing we gotta do is put the hook on it. So that aspect of this eye is gonna be determined by what kind of hook we're gonna use. So if I'll show you. Say I want to rig it with a worm hook like this. Let's see your basic hook. Get that in focus. Simply put it on here, close the loop, and then your swing head chatterbait is ready to go. And any kind of trailer that you want to rig with that right there, all set. But if I was going to use a weightless swim bait hook like this, I would take my pliers and turn this so it was across this way, so that my swim bait hook would be able to hook into it like that. And it'd be rigged like this. And that's still a swing head. It's just going to use more of a whip wad trailer or a shatter bait trailer. So it all depends on a trailer that this is going to be designed for. I'm not going to go with such a big hook. We're just going to put a regular worm hook on here. Try to keep this in focus. Just kind of like to grab it right there, close it up. And this is just going to be a creature trailer or whatever else you might want to use, but kind of a Texas rig. Make it weedless, and there you have it. That's my version of a swing head chatterbait. So I think what I'll go next with this is going to be this BuzzBait. So I don't know if you remember when I was painting this. I normally just use a single collar. I was just trying to show you the benefit of, if you have a good artistic mind, you could really come up with some colors. So you can start with this thing upside down, right side up, whatever. So I think I'll start just like this. So I was thinking, what's good for that buzzbait? Maybe some white. Maybe teamed up with some of this shad silver gray. Since I'm using this shad silver gray, I feel like I can just stick with this black thread. I think I'll just put that shad color on the inside. Let me get that pinned up before I get it tangled. I already see one piece where I messed it up. There we go. Get that all straightened out. And flip that over. Do the same thing. Got a couple wraps on that layer. Just tie it off. All right. I think that's good. I'm gonna hold it long enough to get some wire on it anyway. A lot of times, you know, if you give yourself a lot of room, you can really whip these out pretty quick. All right. I don't think I need to put the needle nose down there. I think I got it pretty tight the first wrap. All right, so I can let this go. I'm just gonna leave that other one like that. So the next part is going to be picking out a blade. So I'll show you. I think this is the blade I'm going to use. The blade's important because it's going to determine the cadence. What cadence you're particularly interested in. So It's going to decide if you want a clacker or not. This one, I'll show you. So here's two different size common blades. We got these that are a little bit bigger. This is a little bit smaller. That's in this type of weather. If I'm going to use a BuzzBait, I'm going to want to slow roll this thing, right? So this is going to give a better slow roll cadence. This one's going to have to be sped up a little bit because it's smaller, but it's going to make a more rapid sound. So that's two different options. And you got these big giant things right here that really is two blades put together, makes a whole different sound. And you could probably get up on water pretty slow with this thing. And then this is another option. It's wide open because you have this plastic. Let me show you. What happens is this plastic blade right here runs in the middle. So that being that they're two different sizes, one's way smaller than the other, one's going to actually run a whole, this one's going to spin a little bit faster than this bigger outside one. So that's another option, but again, I'm already set on what I'm going to use today. So the next thing you got to do is pick out a bead, because you need some kind of bearing in there. Now see, if you're going to run that hollow blade I just showed you with the plastic one in there, you need a bead on each side of that. But this particular setup right here is very simple. All you're really going to do is put the blade on. See, the blade's never going to be up here, so you don't need a bead up here at the top, because it's never going to run up there. So your bearing or your bead, whatever it's going to be, is going to go right here. Now, you don't want it to interfere with anything, so this is the perfect size for this, because this will spin freely. And you got to put your little grommet. And really, you know what this looks like? It looks like a piece of rivet, without the actual rivet material in it. And then I usually just kind of take this and turn it down. So just put a little turn in there so that don't come off. And then that's it. That's just going to run on there just like that. Now this one, like I said, with this bigger blade, this thing's going to roll a little bit slower. It's going to get a little higher on, a little bit less effort. I'll be able to slow it down and give it that nice little cadence, little chug. So you might have heard what I'm talking about, a clacker. So I'm not going to put a clacker on this one, but this is a setup. If see, this is a smaller blade on here, so it's going to turn faster. But this clacker right here is it's gonna trail, like the water pressure is going to keep it coming down here, and as this thing's just going to turn and clack on it. I don't know if I could do it. Not see, hear that? So that's the sound it's gonna kind of. Now it won't jump up like that. See how it's doing that? When it's got water pressure on it, it's gonna stay tight down here. It's gonna roll across there. However, that's not what I'm going at. However, I'm going with simple today. So when I go to cut these off on something like this, I just try to get the most of, get them all kind of even. See, I left that one a little bit long, so I'll just pull that down. So the closest I can cut it to make it all even, it's going to be about right here. Get that in the camera. I'll just come in and try to cut them straight across. Just like that. Well, that's just your common buzzbait right there. Well, big bladed buzzbait, because this thing, like I said, I'm experimenting with this. I want to slow roll this thing. We'll put a trailer on it. See that that little barb right there? I'll hold my trailer on. And just ease that through the water. Nothing to it, right? That's backwards. It's gonna be spinning this way. Alright, well that's about it for this video. I see I'm kind of running out of time, and I'm starting to wander into the, like I said, the boring tent, right? So I didn't get a chance to doing a spinnerbait. So I threw together a couple 1 ounces off camera. This is my basic setup of my style of spinnerbait. I changed these any number of blades, with Colorado, willow leaf. That's a typical one. I would probably trim these off a little bit more. That's a little bit too long for a skirt, but I use these. I don't give these to too many people because they're just not for everybody. These take a little bit of tuning, but when you get them running good, these run across the, like, you want to run these deep with these 3 blades on there. It just takes a little. You gotta watch what you're doing. The first time you tie it on there, you wanna have a good visual and see what it's gonna do before you start running with it. And then once you get this baby tuned in right, it'll if I had a test tank, I'd probably like get one tuned properly before I sent it out. But since I don't, like, this blade always works fine. It's this little blade right here that you gotta get, you gotta kind of get your wire just right, so you get the right angle on your wire to get this blade to do anything. If not, it's just gonna sit there and look dumb. But if you got patience, you got the patience with it. This thing is nice for actually running this time of year too. Slow rolling across the bottom, deep, like real deep. Like, get up in a deep lake. I'm talking like 50 feet down, and just drag this slow roll it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So that's pretty much spinnerbait. And then you just saw the BuzzBait. That's a very, very standard or very not very too many thrills type BuzzBait. I like those ones with in the summertime. I really like to use the smaller blades, or I like to use the blades with the little bitty blades inside. They really sound cool. But I think for this, I just want that little chug, almost like maybe a real cold mouse trying to swim in a freezing cold water, and it's just stove up, so it's just like bark. You know what I'm talking about. Won't even spin that fast. It's gonna be about like that, real slow like that, and make that air sound come through those little holes. And then, so of course, the football head, which that's, everybody uses a football head, right? That's my go-to jig right there. I'll throw this in some heavy traffic, light traffic, like to bounce it down riprap. That's my go-to baby right there. Look at that rollover paint. That's that chameleon powder paint. I don't know if you've seen it that good. And then these are the 2 different type chatter blades, or chatter baits I make anyway. This is your swing head. I like this because it, especially now, I'll use a chatter trailer on that, but sometimes I want to put a craw or something, or a different type of trailer. And then what I was talking about with the swim bait hook, when you bend this eye this way, you'll put that swim bait when you put this swim bait hook on there with this screw type weightless, when you put that on that, then you can use your like actually a swim bait. So that's very important. If you're gonna use a shatter trailer, some type of swim bait on a swing head, the swing head is the way to go, because when you have this set up right here, hang on a second. Here we go. Instead of talking about it, what if I just showed you? So this is the chatter. Now this blade's too little, I think, for this. This is a big old, I think this is a 3/4 ounce head. I'd rather have a 1/2 inch jig head. Well, here's the chatter trailer. Here's your shatter bait. That's your shatter bait on a worm hook. Look at that, would you? So look, see, you don't have to have an eye on it because it's going to be covered by the skirt. And then, here we go, try to keep this in the camera for you. See how that owner beast hook slides right up in there with the screw swim bait hook. It's a weightless swim bait hook. But see, this thing's got that upper hook slot right there. Watch this. See when that baby comes down on there? Look at that. Look at that hook. Man, you ever see anything more beautiful than this? I mean, really, seriously. Look at that. Thought I'd just throw that together for you instead of trying to tell you about it. So what was the last? Oh, so I got, they're here, right here. Just your regular swim jig with a chatterbait blade on it. So this is a really good swim jig. See, you can use it without you can use this without this chatterbait blade. Rig it weedless. Got your hook guard, and just run it like that. And that's a good jig. That works good too sometimes. But with the chatter, it works very well with this chatter blade on there. And if you don't want the weed guard, because for some reason it might be interfering with the way you want to fish with this, just cut that off right there. Smooth. And that thing runs good with or without this. The reason for my setup just like this is because I like to throw in a lot of garbage and trash. When I see a bunch of weeds that normally you wouldn't throw a chatterbait into, I'm throwing this in there. All right, well, that's it for today. I hope once I'm finished editing this video, it's not going to be too long and boring. I hope this inspired you to want to start making your own jigs. The video before this one and this one shows how easy it could be. And you really don't need a whole different bunch of varieties. Go on your favorite web page that sells all your molds and lead pots and everything, and decide what like where you want to be in there. Pick out your very first jig head that you're going to use a ton of, and get that first and start practicing and learning. And you don't have to get an expensive like a RCBS pot or anything like that. You could get one of those off of Amazon. They got some little pots that have the heating element in them that are right on it, and you just pour it right from the pot. might hold a little small amount of lead, and those are very cheap. You could pick up one of those, and you go to Barlow's and find a really good mold. They got tons of molds. Just scroll through their pages and pick out the one that you think you're going to use the most and get it. And then while you're buying that, get you a couple little powder paints. You don't even have to have a fluid cup or fluid pot. You could just tap it on there with a little acid brush like I was showing you. It works very well. I did that for quite a while. My very first mold, and that I ran with for a long time, was just a simple football head. It's called a stand-up football head. And Barlow's makes it easy. The mold's about $40, $45. And when you're on the page, you can choose what size you want, and you can make four. I think they got two different sizes. Or maybe stand-up football heads might only have one mold, but they make about 6 different weights. And then on that page, it shows you the availability and a part number for this hook right here to keep your bait from sliding down. You can buy you could actually go on Amazon and get your skirts. You go to Amazon and buy some replacement skirts that are already made, like that one I showed you with the little grommet in it. And it also tells you what size weed guard to get. So everything is all on that one page to be able to make the football head. And that's what I went with first, because I wanted to be able to do something like this. But soon after that, I realized this should have been my first mold, right? That's what I use. You can even put a chatter blade on this right here. Make a real fine jig. If that's got eye sockets, this thing's pretty cool. So anyway, I find myself rambling. But anyway, I'm excited about getting you guys excited about making your own lures. I guess that's what it is. But anyway, that's my goal. I want all you fishermen, every fisherman that's interested in making their own lures and soft plastics and all. I want to show y'all how easy it is to do it. I'm not a very talented guy, so if I can do it, you can surely do it better than me. All right, so before I get off of here, you guys know what I'm going to say. Everybody's watched me for a long time knows what I'm going to say. You guys got to get out there and go fishing. Leave the rat race to another day. Go fishing tomorrow. Take the kids fishing. Take Mama fishing. And don't forget, you guys out there, y'all want to be the person in a kid's life to show them that there's good people in this world. So thank you so much for watching. I really love all your comments, and I really appreciate all the likes. All right, until next time, you guys stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Can't see the off button. I really need new glasses.